What the heck is USAID? Can it be shut down with an executive order? What has Trump done now? Seems like I am making a lot of these videos lately. I'm Brian, I make videos about civics and law. Please share this video, get it out there so people will see it. This information is important. You gotta understand what's going on, guys. Okay, we're gonna talk about this. First, what is USAID? The U.S. Agency for International Development was set up after the Foreign Assistance Act of 1961. Now here is the kind of interesting part. It was set up by an executive order under President Kennedy. There were a lot of other agencies kind of doing the work, and he decided to consolidate them under one organization, one agency, and it's become a really big, important agency. USAID does a lot of stuff, and it hands out a lot of money. So what you're going to look at is 22 U.S.C. 2151, which is the Foreign Assistance Act of 1961, I believe, and it creates kind of the basis by which we send money overseas. I'm going to put up a tutorial right before this video that shows you how I open up a statute and then kind of back up to look at more of the statute and see the rest of it. I would like you to do that with this statute because you really kind of need to see not just the specific statute I'm sending you to, but also look around a little bit and open some of the other sections. But even if you open up section 2151, you're going to see what I'm talking about right up front. Because one of the most important things in there is that Congress declares right at the beginning that it's important to Congress to recognize that the interdependence of countries has become a really big deal. We've become a global world, people travel back and forth, and Congress recognizes that we've become really interdependent as a country as this has become a more globalized world. And that today, the liberty, the freedom, and the economic happiness of Americans has become more and more reliant on the liberty, freedom, and economic happiness of people in other countries. So when people in other countries are suffering, we suffer too. Now, a really good example of that would be COVID. If you keep global pandemics down and keep people healthier, keep sanitation up in other countries, you lower the risk of us getting sick. The thing is, by adding that language into the beginning of the law, they weren't just being nice. They were making that policy part of the law. So if, for example, there's part of the statute later on that says the president has the discretion to give money to people in the Sudan if they are hungry. The president could say, I don't want to give them money because they're not hungry right now. What he can't say is, I don't want to give them money because I don't care about other countries. Because the money that's already been appropriated by Congress goes through that law and through that policy to get to the section that he's talking about, it has to be read in conjunction with the policy. So the discretion that he has is only within that policy. He's allowed to decide people are or aren't hungry, but he's not allowed to decide, I don't care about this policy anymore. The policy was decided by Congress already. Another policy recognition by Congress in 22 U.S.C. 2151 B2, Congress recognizes that there are HIV outbreak problems in sub-Saharan Africa. Once again, the president can decide not to extend money there if he doesn't feel that there is a big problem there. He cannot, on the other hand, decide he doesn't want to extend the money there because he doesn't like them or he doesn't care about them. It's already been recognized as an issue, and it's already been recognized that that issue will affect us by law. Okay, what impact do these policy statements have on his ability to shut down USAID? Possibly nothing, because the only thing he's done so far is to dissolve USAID and move it under the State Department, which it was already under the State Department anyway. He's just sort of removed a bureaucratic layer. As long as he continues to recognize the policy agendas and continues to fulfill his requirements under the law, he can do it in any department he wants to, especially in the department that it's designed to be put under. Now, the important question is, does he intend to continue doing that? Is he dissolving USAID so that he can reorganize his government? Or is he dissolving USAID so that he can stop following these policy directives? One of these options is probably just fine. The other one probably would have more trouble. Now, what I want you to do is go look at 22 U.S.C. 2151. You'll see you can back up and look at the entire statute. Kind of flip through a couple of the different sections and take a look. But keep in mind as you're looking that some of these are going to be policy statements and some of them are going to be actual directives. But the policy statements are still part of the law. And so they can't just be ignored. When Congress put them in there, they became sort of a filter that you have to look through while you look at the rest of the law. And so it sort of narrows the way that you can interpret any other parts of the statute. But this is actually a kind of a unique opportunity to look at a very policy-heavy statute and see how it looks. They aren't all like this. My view when I read this was that Congress was intentionally trying to give kind of big policy directives saying, we see that there is a big problem about this, but then sort of give the president some discretion to decide how and where to direct the money within that problem. Which makes sense because these problems change every day. You got to be able to make changes as things evolve. But it's interesting to see that sometimes Congress will say, do this, and sometimes they'll say, there's kind of a problem here, so deal with it. But it's still no less of a law. So are there going to be lawsuits about him shutting this down? Of course. But I think the bigger question is going to be, is he just shutting it down or is he moving it over? I could absolutely be wrong, and we'll see what the lawsuits say. And I might see some unique arguments come up that I hadn't thought of, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't think of that. Of course. But my guess is that this is going to be more about whether he's continuing the mission if he shifts things over. But we shall see. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Shannon, Monica, Ryan, and Cynthia, thank you so much for sending me stuff. You guys are keeping me fed, and I really appreciate it because I've got to have something to keep going on. If you guys want to support me, there are ways to do it on my Linktree. Thanks, guys. Keep watching. I'll keep making them.